As the world deals with high food prices and increasing inflation, the Eastern Cape Department of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform has partnered with the United Nations World Food Programme to upscale its small-scale farmers. This will allow them to produce and sell food to the UN World Food Programme for its humanitarian interventions and to local markets. Let's discuss this further with Head of Department Siphokazi Ndudane. Thank you very much for your time this evening. It's such an important issue because a lot of our farmers are made up exactly of small-scale farmers who need capacitation, especially in terms of infrastructure. Can you tell us what this project entails, specifically to do with infrastructure that will allow them to upscale, to be able to sell not only to the UN World Food Programme, but also to those local markets?
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening to you, Andy, and good evening to the residents of the Eastern Cape and the citizens of the country at large. As of course you have indicated, this partnership with the World Food Programme, who procure food in bulk and especially the crop cereals, your maize, your soya beans, your sunflower. So they do bulk buying to assist where there is humanitarian needs with regards to food shortages in areas where there's probably conflicts, disasters, or any other issues that relate to or lead to food shortages around the world. Now, the Eastern Cape government has developed a program through the National Department of Agriculture that is called the District Development Model. And currently the department has invested almost 400 million on infrastructure for the previous financial year, and we've set aside an additional 200 million approximately to invest on infrastructure for this financial year. So there is what we call RED hubs, which are called rural economic development hubs that are existing in various districts in the province. The first one probably to highlight is the one that is in Bizana in the in the Alfred Nzo district. There is one in the OR Tambo, which is in Mkanduli RED hub. We've got another one that is in Amalahleni. And what is happening within this development hub, there is infrastructure that has already been developed by the department, working with other agencies to assist the farmers, not only to produce, but to bring their produce so that they aggregate that produce within this infrastructure that is shared by the other small-scale and medium farmers that are around. You are correct in saying so that within our country, and in particular in developing countries and in a province such as an Eastern Cape, that is a rural province, a bulk of food security and food production is dependent on your subsistence farmers who feed their families for livelihood on a daily basis in their homes. Depends also on your small, or what we call emerging farmers, and your small commercial farmers. So they play quite a very critical role. And of course, as I have indicated, the challenges become the issues of infrastructure, agro-logistics, moving that produce, and that produce finding itself to the market has been the challenge. So the department, in ensuring that we kind of make way for the farmers in this province to produce, because this province has got land that is almost 17 million hectares, and about 4 million hectares of that land is lying fallow, and bulk of it resides in the former homelands, the then Transkei and the then Ciskei areas, and it's underutilized, and these are vast lands that are lying fallow. Now, we said, how do we then, while we support the production of food in this province, equally make sure that that food finds itself to the market? So we approached the World Food Programme, and we discussed with them, and we found that they were equally ready to partner with the Eastern Cape government insofar as getting access to the food that can be produced here, so that they can produce that food, store that food in some warehouses, and they are able to distribute that. So this is going to bring real income, direct income for our small-scale producers in this province.
Siphokazi, it's an excellent plan. The best-laid plans sometimes fall flat through a lack or challenges with implementation. And one of the challenges that many developing new era farmers tell us about is the lack of sustained assistance. We know input costs have drastically increased, so farmers really struggle, especially with cash flow. So in terms of infrastructure, it sounds like you've got it all down. That planning is great, but what kind of consistent ongoing support are these farmers going to get in terms of input costs and, like you say, in terms of storage, warehousing, all of the things that they need ultimately to get that product to market in time?
We've got programs that we run in the department, and we've set aside significant budget. For instance, we've set aside about almost 300 million that is going to go to cropping. And exactly what that money is going to do three things. The first thing is to support the farmers and subsidize them with input costs. So we give a subsidy per hectare for that to the farmers, for their input costs, be it your fertilizer, be it the seed. The second thing that we do, we provide mechanization. So we have put mechanization centers in at least 4 districts in the province where government has procured tractors, plowing equipment, and these are stored at a centralized mechanization center. And this provides assistance to those farmers so that they can be able to produce. The third thing that we are doing is to provide specialized training. We've got a research institution as the department, the Doni Research Institution. It is run by professors, by people who hold PhDs and masters. These are scientists in their own right that write accredited scientific papers in peer-reviewed journals. That expertise resides within our institutions, and we support them, farmers, in ensuring that we make sure that the quality of their produce meets the standards. And of course, those who could export, we know because there's regulations, if you export any agricultural produce, it's a very highly regulated area and it needs to meet certain minimum standards for you to be able. So we've got experts in the department, and of course we are beefing up our extension services in all of the districts, because these are the real foot soldiers in each and every district to give proper advice to the farmers, advice that comes timely and advice that is equally important for them to be able to be guided in terms of how they run their businesses.
Siphokazi, it's not for nothing that the Eastern Cape is called the food basket of South Africa, and where we hope this project and this program is going to help those farmers not only to contribute to food security for the country and for, as you say, conflict zones, but also to uplift those rural communities as well, because that infrastructure that helps the farmers get their produce to market also serves the rest of the community as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, because of course you do know that the Eastern Cape province is in itself food insecure. We have people who go to bed without food in this province. We've got a significant amount of youth that is unemployed. And as I say, we've got the vast lands, we've got the good weather, and all that we needed was to make sure we align the efforts of government and put the money where it's supposed to go and make sure that it does what it actually needs to do. So this program is not only going to assist those who are going to commercially benefit economically from it, but it is equally going to ensure that we produce enough food for consumption, domestic as well, so that we make sure that in this province, not a single person goes to bed without food.
I know you're speaking on behalf of the Eastern Cape Department of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform, but are there plans to possibly roll this program out on a national scale?
Absolutely. They do plan to roll it out at the national scale. Currently, they are engaging with the National Department of Agriculture, and they are considering to sign an agreement with the Department of Agriculture, National Department, and I want to believe that other provinces will follow suit. But as the Eastern Cape, we've raised our hand, we've stepped up and we stepped out, and we say we are here, we've got all that it takes, and we are putting our hand to be the first to pilot this program. And I cannot, at any point beyond any reasonable doubt, I can assure you that we are going to succeed and make significant improvement in the production of food and in securing food for the South Africans and for other parts in the continent and everywhere else in the world.
Well, thank you so much. It certainly is excellent news for farmers, small-scale farmers in the Eastern Cape and for agriculture broadly. That was Eastern Cape Department of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform Head Siphokazi Ndudane.